working with On the Media on a series about shortwave radio. So we really, really want to hear from you because ultimately you all are the experts. Many of you have been listening for years. Some of you have been listening for less long, but you're tuning in. You're seeing what you can pick up on the shortwave bands. I'd also love to hear, if you're sitting at home, wherever you live, where have you picked stations up from? Who have you heard on the airwaves? Have you heard private stations? Have you heard government stations? Have you heard pirates? What's your favorite thing you've heard on the shortwave lately, on shortwave broadcasting? Please do send us your voice memo on the media at WNYC.org. And thank you all so much. You all have already sent us in so many voice memos, which has just been fantastic to listen to. We've heard from somebody in China. We have heard from people all across the U.S., from Minnesota to Arizona to Alabama and Pennsylvania. And here's just a little bit of what you all have said so far.
My name is Anthony, listening to WRMI 9395 kilohertz in Queens, New York. I love shortwave because of what it offers to people. The ability to freely access information no matter where you are in the world. There are people who live in oppressive places where you cannot speak freely, where you cannot think freely, you cannot assemble even peaceably. And these places are often information deserts. You could even argue that America is an information desert because of the control that corporatized, sanitized media has.
Hello, On the Media. My name is Todd, and I live in Brooklyn. Last night, I was surprised to hear your show on shortwave. I'm a ham radio operator, and I was listening to my ham radio at home. My interest in shortwave is the same as my interest in ham radio. The skywave, a magic trick of nature that sends signals incredible distances, but never the same way twice. The tech involved is simple, free of telecom companies, and privacy friendly. I don't tune into shortwave often. At least in the U.S., it's like AM radio, but worse. Doomsday prophecies, fake health cures, etc. That said, there are some exciting shows on shortwave like This Is a Music Show, Pop Shop Radio, and Radio Cafes International. There is also a YouTuber named John Jurassic who is doing a weekly light entertainment program called WRW Radio International. It is mundane and bizarre. Okay, that's it. 7-3.
I do really miss listening to shortwave radio. It was a big part of my life. Essentially, you could listen to South American stations, North American, and all over Europe, and it was great.
I'm 66 years old and listened to shortwave since I was a young kid growing up in New York, and those are really the glory days. I'd say, for me, from 1970 through perhaps a little after 2000, you had the Cold War. You had government broadcasters. You had crazy stuff like radio station Peace and Progress, the voice of Soviet public opinion, as if Soviets were actually allowed to have public opinion, at least it differed with the government. Part of what happened, I think, is that after the Cold War, countries looked at way too much information and thought, well, perhaps some of this information could be given out over the internet. So a lot of international broadcasters just started closing down.
I love to hear these experiences because there's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of differences as well. So please do send us a voice memo on the media at WNYC.org, and we may use your voice in our series about shortwave radio. Thanks again for listening, and now let's get back to the show.